Hi all, in this video we will look at how to read and write files in R, especially the CSV files because it is the most commonly used format for analyzing data. So before that we should know what is our current working directory. Uh, this enables us to directly read and write file into the folder without actually specifying the path. So we'll just do a get working directory. So I am into documents folder, and if I want to know what are the different files present, I can basically .csv. So there are four CSV files present, which is panel dataset, structure dataset, wall breaks, and zip code. And I want to import panel dataset into R. So how will I do that? I will basically I will basically do a d read.csv of this particular file. And the other thing that I will do is string as factor is equal to false. This particular parameter and argument ensures that if there are any text within the CSV file, these are not read as factors and the data type is maintained as character. So if I now run this, I will basically have it. If I now do a head of df, I can look at what are the different records within this particular data set. Let's say I want to add uh, another variable in this, which is nothing but 1 through and row of df. So I have created another column here. You see another column by the name index has been created. Let's say I want to write it back. So how I can do that? Again using write.csv, I want to write df, and let's say the name of the file, let's change the name of the file as revised. If I do that, I can basically write it back. There is one more thing that we need to ensure. If we do not specify this particular parameter as false, then what it will do in the CSV file, an additional column at the start will be created, which will contain row indices 1 2 3 4 5 6 all the way through the number of rows. In order to avoid that, we basically add row.names is equal to false. Let's do one thing. Let me run this. So now if I go to the document folder, see, an additional column at the start is created which contains the row indices. Now we don't want that. In order to avoid this, what we will do, we'll just write a row.names is equal to false. So once I do that, if I now go back and again check if the column has been deleted or not, see, now this particular column at the start has been removed. uh, read.csv and write.csv are functions that can be used to read and write small to medium scale files. However, if your file is very huge and if the number of records basically are into 100Ks or millions, then there is a function known as fread. I think it is available through data table. Let me run it. Okay, yeah, fread is available through data table. Now I can read huge files. So zip code is one file which has multiple records. It runs into thousands. So I can just do a fread of this. String as factor again applies here as well, and I will read it into df3. Now if I look at the number of records, it is 260K. So this is a huge file. Again, let's say if I do some manipulation here. Let's say if I add index, oh sorry, if I now want to write it back, instead of using write.csv, I will use fwrite, and I want to write fwrite. I want to write back df3, and let me use revised, and I think row.names applies here as well. So if I go back here, see, a revised file zip code underscore revised has been created, and if I just open this, yeah, see, an index has been created. So the whole purpose of creating this video was to give you some introduction about how to read and write CSV based files in R, how to read small to medium complex files, and how to read complex or huge data sets in the form of CSV using fwrite.